What's up? We are live today on this Monday. I told you we're going live every Monday. Really trying to get back. I probably still won't do every Monday for the rest of the season, but for sure the rest of this series. Hopefully this will be the last one by myself. Now I didn't get a chance to get nobody today. See, last week I planned on something to happen. This one I was trying to get it, but I couldn't get it. So I knew it wasn't gonna be nobody. So I'm just like, you got me solo 2 weeks in a row. Now I'm not trying to be solo too many times on these, but I'm here today. And so, like last week, I won't be before you long. And we talking about quite a few things. So first of all, let's first jump into the recap for track 2, which was As a Man, Why You Into Zodiac Signs. So first of all, let me give you a quick little backstory about it. So the episode came about. I remember I was trying to figure out what I wanted to talk about for this series, and I wanted to do an EP. Now EPs are typically like 3, 4, 5 tracks. They say 6, I believe, is the most when I did the research. So 7 would have been too many. So I had to stick around 6. And when I was trying to get the topics, I'm like, this is the one I really got to talk about. And I knew people was gonna kind of be like, well, why are you talking about this? Is other things to talk about. Well, it is other things to talk about, but we need to talk about this too because people put too much hope in things that aren't, one, for certain, and two, aren't. It just isn't the best thing to put your hope in because again, it's not for certain. That's the main thing. That's really the main thing. But I mean, two, it's not. It is demonic. People don't want to hear that, but it is. And even if you don't care about that, like I said in the episode, tarot cards and astrology, all that stuff is limited. Like, okay, so it's like, especially with tarot cards, it's 78 cards, 156 predictions, possibilities. Why would you? And even though that's a lot, it's possible to live out all them possibilities. So why would you want to limit yourself to that? Because see, me, where I'm going, especially in this point in my life, I want to see something I ain't never seen. You feel me? I'm not trying to preach or nothing, but I'm just saying, like, that's just where I'm at. I want to see something I ain't never seen. So I don't want to limit myself to that. That's with that. Now, with the episode, I'm not going yeah. I'm not going yeah. So when I was recording it, so when I do my scripts, we all know I'm a funny person, and I do incorporate jokes that I plan to do. And when I do them, most times I feel they hit. Like I'll say 85% of the time they hit, right? But of course, because topics do go off topic, which is the purpose in my scripts and, allow for that, I do know that sometimes stuff is going to pop out and be funny. So when I recorded this episode, I was like, right after I recorded it, because I ain't gonna lie, I recorded it like, I think it was due to my editor no later than Wednesday. I recorded it Wednesday morning, and I usually have them done weeks in advance this season, like I said. But as I was recording it, right after, I'm like, that wasn't hitting. Like I mean, it was hitting, but it wasn't hitting, like I said, compared to the first one. But after kind of rewatching and redoing the clips and re-listening to them, I'm like, dang, no, this mother was pretty funny. I ain't gonna lie. So, big ups to me for that. And I'm pretty happy about that. Now, when I interview, it's easy to bounce off the guests, right? Or guests plural. I maybe have an episode with plural guests coming soon. I don't know. You have to see. But it's easier to bounce off them, even if you are having a lazy day. It's easier to bounce off somebody, right? But when you by yourself, you have to keep all the energy up, keep everything up. So the episode was a lot of good insight. I liked how we talked about the joke about the Death So Raven, the joke about people obsessed with people or really like look up to people who can see the future. And like in that video stated, it was just like some people can actually see the future from or they're just lying. And then, like the man said, sometimes demons be talking to them and telling them the future and telling them what's about to happen. But I think about, I don't think we covered an episode, but what I was going to say was, I think about Carmen in what's that movie, Beyonce, that movie, the Carmen, the hip opera. And you remember when she went to go see the psychic, or the tarot card reader, Wyclef Jean? And when she went to go see him, and he was like, I want to say I talked about this on the podcast before. And he was like, you about to die. And she was thinking, and she was like, no, 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 I don't want to go. And she was singing that song, and then they had like a musical moment. And then she did end up dying at the end. In case you ain't see it, I just ruined it for you. But based on things that like have happened in the Bible, and when things are to come, you don't always that don't always have to, when something's revealed to you that's going to happen, it doesn't always have to be that way. So like you would see with like in the Bible, the prophets would tell of something to come, and then sometimes it will happen, sometimes it will happen not as intense. So example, so if it was something that was going to come and it was on a level 10, it might get weakened to like a level 4. And then sometimes, a lot of the times, things were canceled. It just was based on that person knowing how to like rebuke stuff or come out of agreement with stuff. And but it just depends on the situation and the circumstance. It's a case by case thing, but there are many examples of all three in that. And so that's the difference with psychics. Psychics can't stop. They can only tell you what's gonna happen if they actually listening, got they their ear to the realm, not the good one, the bad one. And they can't stop it. They just gonna say, hey, this is about to happen. But they can't tell you what to, just like prepare for it. So, and then with that, the whole death thing, that was like Final Destination, because how she died, she got shot, and it was like the bullet wasn't even supposed to go towards her. It just kind of happened. But that's like Final Destination, because it's like when they marked for death in Final Destination, no matter what happens, no matter how they try to avoid it, like say if a person like me, I'm not gonna say me, was marked for death and they were just sitting in the chair like this, and then the ceiling just collapsed on them, or what else, or the light from this fell over and hit something and caught fire, and then the person like me, not me, being fired and just something stupid like that. I got a homeboy that's in the horror movies, but he said he can't watch Final Destination because it's too realistic. Also, I liked this episode because it was a different approach. I talked about the veneers and I talked about the wigs as my happy hour conversation, and ended up with some tips, just telling people like the future is good. Is rather you partner with God about your future than partner with the horoscopes, because either way you partner with somebody. I'd rather you partner with God than the horoscope. Just saying. And again, I ain't perfect. I ain't, but I just really am in a different space in my life right now. So if you notice some different things, that's why. In a good space, not a bad one. As of today, I am, because I'm doing my 60-day no alcohol, waking up at 7, one raw meal a day, reading 5-10 pages. Since this started, I haven't drank any alcohol. I've been reading 5 to 10 pages. For the most part, I've been doing the raw meals. It's just one a day. And then this waking up, I've been doing pretty good. But I'm not gonna lie, some days it wasn't that I woke up at like 7:25. It wasn't on purpose. It was because the alarm, I just didn't hear it. But I've been doing pretty good with it. And for the most part, it's like that's minor. And you human, so you're gonna mess up a little bit with some stuff, but just keep going. Anybody that's doing it. And if you feel like it's too late, it's not too late. You can join in because it's for 60 days. If you come in at day 15, if you come in at day 30, I'm not tripping. Because it's probably the longest some of y'all would do some of this stuff anyway. So, all right, that's enough for the rant. So let's get into the topics for today. First topic we're going to talk about is Noah Lyles. So who is Noah Lyles? He ran for the United States in the Olympics. And I'm not gonna have a video. I'm not gonna have a video of him winning. He beat Jamaica by an inch, like barely that much. And I'm gonna show you. We're gonna talk about it, and then I'm gonna get to the stuff because there's a lot I want to cover with him. So first of all, he won. This is the dude who did the Yu-Gi-Oh card with the blue eyes white dragon. This is the dude who they tried to call him Zesty. They tried to talk about him that way. They tried to go in on him with his nails painted. I'll talk about that in a minute. And somebody who commented on it, and I got some pictures from the shade room we're gonna go over. But he won by an inch. And so let's talk about the nails painted first. Let's talk about that. So again, it's from the shade room, and it says Noah Lyles in the men's 100-meter Olympic champion, or it is the 100 meters Olympic champion. And so Dwayne Wade gonna say, and he got his nails painted. Now say something. So I didn't like that from Dwayne Wade. I didn't like that. And so it's two things with Noah Lyles we're gonna talk about. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it from this, and then we're gonna talk about the thing next. So let's get into the first segment for the day, which is because I really didn't like that. What does this have to do with mental health? Now, let's talk about Noah Lyles. So first of all, he just won. The eyes is on him. All the public looking at him. All eyes on me, Tupac voice. And everybody's staring at him. He won the Olympics. Of course, you're going to get a lot of love. Of course, you're going to get a lot of hate because a lot of the Jamaicans didn't like the fact that he won by an inch, and they was like he didn't win. Jamaica won, you know, and Jamaica and the United States going back and forth, talking about each other, talking about each other. And they just having a bunch of like little petty beefs back and forth. And I saw somebody say something like, well, y'all better stop for Jamaica, not let us vacation there no more, and all that stupid stuff. But basically what happened was he has his nails painted. People was talking about that. And so Dwayne Wade basically chimed in. Now, I don't like that because he's newer to the industry, right? That's my view, my take on Noah Lyles. He's newer to the industry. And so even though he's been in a spotlight before, not as long as Dwayne Wade. And Dwayne Wade, ultimately, anybody in the spotlight, 9 times out of 10, I'll say 8 times out of 10, they built an immunity to people's comments. But why would you try to push the eyes on him like, y'all talk about him now? Look, see, y'all gonna talk about him? Y'all gonna talk about him? And it's like, I think their situations is totally different, and I'm gonna get into that in a minute. So I didn't like that because what if he's already feeling the way because he probably getting teased because of another comment he made, which we about to look at right now. I was gonna wait. Now we're just gonna do it all in one. It don't matter. It don't make sense. So he says after his win, he says, I have asthma, allergies, dyslexia, ADD, anxiety, and depression. But I would tell you what you have does not define what you can become. Why not you? So I don't believe Dwayne Wade comment made him post this, but I do know for a fact he is proud of his issues and things that he's overcome having asthma. Now, asthma, I don't have that, but I do know a lot of people was like in the comments, they was just like, you know, him having asthma doing that's definitely something. But I did see somebody say allergies, you really crying about some allergies. And then they talking about dyslexia is the thing, ADD, anxiety, and depression, those are, you know, obviously mental health related things. Well, yeah. Well, anxiety and depression for sure. And the thing is, it was overlooked. Now, he's saying that, I believe Dwayne Wade said what he said first, but it's just like, why would you try to make him like, it's like you much older than him. And even with you, Dwayne Wade, with you having your nails and painted and your feet painted, you know good and well that people that even though now Noah Lyles did it, and not saying that he and there are men that get their fingernails and stuff painted because they wanted to. I'm not one of them, but there are people that do it, right? And I believe Noah Lyles did it because he wanted to. Dwayne Wade did it. We don't know for sure why he did it, right? It ain't none of our business technically. But what I will say is I could believe it was more so like, do this. I just don't feel like Dwayne Wade wanted to do that. Even how he got it done, it just looked like he did it because they told him to. I just don't feel like, maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I just don't see him wanting to do that. I feel like he did it just because it was like, hey, go do this. Gabrielle Union was like, go do this. He was like, okay. Because we all have stated before, we've noticed a big difference in D-Wade from before Gabby to after. And I believe a good relationship is supposed to change you, but a bad one can change you too. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's just, you know, a little that. But going back to the whole depression and anxiety and stuff, and so many people was making fun of him. They was like, oh, and you got depression, anxiety. How you had that when you had this? And the comments was just trolling. And I hate to see that because, you know, the allergies, I'm not gonna lie. No, that's funny. You said you got allergies. Like, come on now. I ain't gonna lie. Let's look back at the list. Come on. Allergies, asthma, dyslexia, ADD, anxiety, and depression. Okay, but come on, allergies. And now I'm sorry. Now everything else I can understand, but allergies, really, I ain't gonna lie, that he shouldn't have did that one. But that's okay. You know, it's all right. We all, you know, players mess up too. It's cool. But I just think it's funny because, like, it's funny because it's sad how, like I said, allergies, I don't laugh that one. But everything else is like, that's not funny. Like, yeah, you might say it's not that serious but that's one of those things you might could argue. One of those things he described or he put on his post, you might could say, okay, I just have this. But when you have all those things at once, it's kind of like you have several odds against you. So it's just kind of, it's a lot to sit here and try to say he named about 7 things. You know what I mean? That's a lot. It'd be different if it was one of them. You might argue that, but you can't argue 7. You got all that stuff at once. And I'm sure he didn't probably got diagnosed. He's in the Olympics. I'm sure he didn't got diagnosed with something. You know, as far as the depression, anxiety, I'm sure he just pulled it out there. And if it did, it'll come up, you know. But I just didn't like how society, this is why black men keep stuff to themselves. And this is why people they unalive themselves, because y'all make jokes like that. Now, again, the allergies thing, that's funny. But the rest of the stuff is not funny. And it's just like, this is why people keep stuff to themselves. This is why people keep stuff to themselves. Now, WWID. What would I do in this situation? So we're going to start from the whole Dwayne Wade thing, and then we're going to go to Noah Lyles second. So with Dwayne Wade, he should have kept this comment to himself. It was lame to me. You like 40-something making why you want him to get trolled? Like, that's lame. Like, you too old for that. You want that man to get trolled, and then because you getting trolled because you a plant. Like that's not, I ain't like that. I didn't like that. I ain't like that. And if Noah Lyles didn't respond, don't respond to that, because I feel like people gonna defend you for that. That was trifling. That was lame. And that was lame. Now, as far as Noah Lyles, and he made his points about the big win, should have left the allergies part out. I would have left that out. But as far as him speaking on his big win, I don't see nothing wrong with what he said. I don't see nothing wrong with what he said. Like, I mean, these things, and you say you can accomplish anything, but like I said, there's several things he named. And then on top of that, you don't know what nobody told him, like, oh, you ain't gonna be, you know what I'm saying? They might have made it through it up as a joke, or they might have said, like, you know, oh, he can't, you know, he can't read because he mixing up numbers and words, and oh, you know, depression by itself, you know, it's done a lot on people. But then mixed it with anxiety and dyslexia and ADD, it's just a lot going on, and asthma, and you're a runner. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot. So I don't blame him for making that post, because it just goes to show you. And even for somebody who might say, what I'm going through ain't that, because that's what most people try to say, what I'm going through ain't that serious. That's what they might think. Well, he proved otherwise, showing you, like, there's other people like you too. Now, WWJD, what would Jesus do? So Jesus wouldn't have done nothing Dwayne Wade did in that situation. So we're going to jump off that. And also, the most ethically, morally thing he did was, he could do is apologize for that. Is he going to do that? Who knows? But I know what Noah Lyles in his situation, I think that he just gave an inspiring message. He ain't bash nobody. He ain't say, Jamaica, you suck. He ain't say none of that. He ain't say, suck it easy. He ain't do none of that. He just gave an inspirational message. So that's pretty self-explanatory. WSMD, what should men do? Any situation. If somebody, now I have been in situations, so let's say this. I have been in situations, so I'm gonna tell myself, where, not the fingernails, but I have gotten clown for something, and then I watch somebody else do it, and then it's like, well, why they not getting clown? So I get that. So I'm not gonna take back what I said, because I still feel like he's too old to be doing that, especially to somebody that much younger than you. But I have been in a situation where I have been like, the line keep moving. Why is it okay for them, but it's not okay for me? So you have to. So let's break that down. So I can't say men don't do that, because I might do that again. Now, I might not cry about it and make a post about it, but in the same breath, I think that's mainly the lame thing about it. You making a post about it and tagging him in it and quoting his stuff, like, okay, now tell him about him too. That's lame. You feeling that way is not an issue, but you publicly doing all that, that's the point I don't like. And then as far as that, like I said, I wouldn't make a public. I'm not gonna say I wouldn't. I would try not to. I don't think that I would, though. I'm trying to. It's a case by case scenario, but that one was lame. And tell me what y'all think about that. Let me know. Let me know what y'all think about that. But as far as Noah Lyles making an inspirational post, I see nothing wrong with that. So he did that. Good for him. And that's that. All right. So now I actually do have a video today, because now we're talking about Donald Trump again, because they talked about the Kamala Harris rally, and we're going to watch this video on it but also I thought it was interesting because he came out to Many Men by 50 Cent. Trump don't care. Trump is a unhinged individual. And this comes from News Variable YouTube channel. So let's watch the video.
I want to ask you a question. She did a rally recently. She had a rapper speak, and then she had a rapper twerk at a rally.
Yeah.
A rapper was twerking at a rally.
Yeah.
I want to know your thoughts on that. It's crazy to me to think that it could be twerking at a rally.
Well, what Hillary did is she would go out and get Bruce Springsteen. He'd get much smaller crowds than I got, to be honest. And he had a guitar, right? I don't have a guitar. but he would fill up a place, and then he'd finish, and they'd all leave, and she'd be speaking. So now Kamala's doing the same thing because nobody wants to go watch her. Nobody.
No.
I mean, she speaks for like a short. Nobody's going to want to watch her, and nobody does want to watch. Now it's at least there's a little bit of curiosity, but there's no value really in going and watching her. So what she did is she's gotten a couple of rappers, and they fill up the place. But what she does is a little bit different. She has them go last. That's smart. I give. So in other words, they want her to finish her speech, get the hell off the stage, and then they can listen to the rap.
Performance starts.
No, it's pretty.
That's kind of smart.
Hillary no, I give her credit.
Yeah, give it to her a little bit.
Hillary never figured that out. She'd get some star, and the star would fill up the place, and then the star would leave. They would leave. Everybody would leave. And she's talking to an empty stadium. Anyway, this is a little better idea.
Yeah.
I guess you could say it's a better.
All right, so I'm not gonna get into his commentary, but let's go into what does this have to do with mental health? Okay. So I couldn't imagine being a politician, but what I will say is the fact that you were shot at, you are hated by all, and now Donald Trump is coming out to 50 Cent Mini Man. I'm sure he's seen the memes because I definitely reposted it. And I'm sure he's seen the memes. And it's just funny because he is like the ultimate troll. I don't know who worse, him or 6ix9ine. And y'all hate both of them. But in this video, he made the observation about Kamala. Well, let's finish with mental health stuff first. So I think that he's unhinged, and I think he just don't care. And I think that to an extent, we should learn how to not care like Donald Trump do. I feel like we would be, you know how good your mental health would be if you didn't care when nobody thought about you like that? Like, that's insane. That is top tier. Like, it's like, oh, Marion, Donald Trump. Like, these people do not care. And I feel like if we had that type of don't give a damn, we'd be some dangerous people. Imagine if you was like that right now. I'm actually low-key jealous. I wish I had that. And to some people I do, but believe it or not, it ain't as much as people think, but it's going to be a whole lot better. What would I do in this situation? So he made the observation about the rally. Okay. So, so I remember Hillary was running and she was going to all the black people. She was getting, I remember she had she had Mary J. Blige singing to her and asking her questions. And Kamala did the same thing. She got Quavo and had Megan Thee Stallion twerking. And now somebody said, Donald Trump had Hope Hogan taking his shirt off. That's not the same thing. Come on. You got Megan Thee Stallion twerking at a rally. And then y'all wonder why people don't take black folks serious. I could understand if she did like a cookout or something. That would make sense. She did like a backyard barbecue and Megan was there, but at a rally. And like the thing is, it wouldn't have been nothing wrong having Megan there. Megan performed songs that wasn't all sexual because a lot of these female rappers do have songs that all of them ain't sexual and twerking. You know, the newest song she got, the Japanese song, that was fine. I think that was, and it was like a TikTok-y thing. That was fine. Kamala could have came out on TikTok with her, but when she started talking about wearing magnums and all this stuff, and I'm like, and you think this okay? And y'all think that's okay? I think that's where it just went left. So for Donald Trump to call that out, like you trying to play into that, which he did, and she was, because Kamala was playing into that, is justified. What would Jesus do in this situation? So honestly, believe it or not, Jesus would call out stuff. and we're gonna say if ethically, I'm not gonna say if Jesus was a politician, but like we're gonna call it from the ethically and morally correct things to do, and especially in this situation and this stance right here, he literally called out hypocrisy. He literally called out the issue of what she did and how that was wild, because it was wild. And he was just like, she's just trying to do whatever to secure the vote, and did basically said she following in Hillary's footsteps, but Hillary lost. So if y'all want Kamala to win, and I did see a video, and I should have put it in here, that showed that all of the people was leaving Kamala stuff early. Like they said that somebody was like, they left 15 minutes after she started talking. There was videos showing people leaving, but it's so much trickery going on. You don't know what's real and what's not. So WSMD, what should men do? Call out stuff you see. It's still ways to do it. In this case, believe it or not, I actually don't mind the way he did it, because he was interviewed and they was asked about it. Of course, it was interviewed by somebody that's in support of him, but he was asked about it. And there are times when Donald Trump ain't as unhinged. So, I thought that was interesting. And he actually acted a little more civil that day, which goes to what I said last week. I still believe he's acting. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't care to be right or wrong. I really don't care, because politics, I just don't care. I care enough to know what's going on, but I'm not crying over none of this. So, yeah. All right, y'all. That's all I got for this week. Next week, I'm going to have a guest for sure. But this week coming up. All right. So remember, I originally said the EP was supposed to be completely solo. Well, unfortunately, I lied, because I'm a liar. And basically, this week's episode and next week is going to have a guest, because this week's episode is split into two. This is track 3. It's going to be split into 2 parts. Why, as a man, why do you have anxiety? And it features a lady who is a anxiety specialist, certified a bunch of different things, has a book dedicated to 30 days to minimize your social media. I can't think of it. I know, basically, to where we let social media run our lives, and basically we can dial back on using social media and technology to, get our lives back in track. And so they actually might pick that up for the next 30 days of this little fast. That's what I might do. I might, in one thing that I'm doing, can't say what, and then pick that up for the last 30 days. I think I actually might do that. And then after that, we got split in 2 parts. But the lady, Dr. Jenny, is an ex-adult film star. PORN. Yeah. So be prepared for that, because I definitely asked the questions y'all want to ask or will want to know, as well as ways to overcome anxiety. We talked about anxiety a few different times before, and we've all struggled with it. That's why I think this was, I'm glad I highlighted this with Noah Lyles about him talking about anxiety, because that's a serious thing. And that by itself is enough. So, we talking about that this week. But once again, as a man, why do you have anxiety? And people be trying to troll you for it. And that's why people keep stuff to themselves. So, yeah, you know how y'all do. But all right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Told y'all I can even keep y'all 30 minutes out of the way. So I will see y'all this week again with the newest episode, with the first guest of the As a Man series. So as always, PSA signing out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are. Make your mind up. Don't let it make you. And remember, I love us for real.